Before we start, kindly subscribe to my channel and tell me, where in the universe are you watching from? The arena was silent. Zivera tightened her grip on the hilt of her plasma blade. Her violet eyes narrowed as she watched the human. He stood in the middle of the sand-covered battlefield, breathing hard. His dark brown hair was messy, dirt clinging to his tattered shirt. He shouldn't be alive. Just minutes ago, 3 Kalfar warriors had surrounded him, each one stronger, faster, and more skilled than any normal human could hope to be. Their bodies were covered in dark blue battle armor, their fangs bared in eager anticipation of the kill. This was supposed to be an execution, a show of power. Yet, somehow, Leon Veros had won, and he had done it with nothing but a rock. Zivera's expression hardened as she replayed the battle in her mind. The first warrior lunged, plasma spear aimed at Leon's heart. But instead of running, the human sidestepped at the last second, snatching a jagged rock from the ground. With perfect accuracy, he hurled it at the warrior's helmet, hitting the visor and cracking the glass. The warrior stumbled, blinded, and Leon took advantage, grabbing the spear and using it against him. The second warrior struck next, swinging a heavy blade. Leon dodged and rolled, his movements wild but precise. Instead of trying to overpower his opponent, he used the warrior's own momentum against him, kicking his legs out from under him. A second rock, thrown with surprising force, knocked the warrior unconscious. The final warrior hesitated, wary now. Leon smirked, wiping sweat from his brow. "What's the matter? Afraid of a little Earth tech?" He tossed the rock from hand to hand, as if it were the deadliest weapon in the galaxy. Zivera had never seen anything like it. No plasma weapons, no armor, just speed, cleverness, and sheer nerve. The third warrior roared and attacked. But Leon had been waiting for this. Instead of facing him head-on, the human ducked, grabbed sand, and threw it straight into his opponent's face. The warrior stumbled, roaring in frustration. That was all Leon needed. He swept his legs out from under him, sent a final punch across his jaw, and ended the fight. Now, as he stood in the center of the arena, surrounded by fallen warriors, Zivera felt something strange twist in her chest. Was it anger? Admiration? She stepped forward, her silver-white hair cascading over her shoulders, her tall, battle-hardened frame tense. The audience, the entire Kalfar warship's crew, watched in shock, waiting for what she would say. Zivera's father, High Warlord Korthak, rose from his throne. His dark, scaled armor glowed under the torches, his deep voice shaking the air. "The human has won," he declared, "and by our law, the victor must claim a prize." Leon's triumphant smirk faltered. "Wait. Prize?" Zivera turned to him, her violet eyes locked onto his hazel ones. Then, with slow, deliberate steps, she approached. "You have bested our strongest warriors in combat," she said. "By Kalfar tradition, you have won the right to take a mate." Leon blinked. "A what?" She placed a firm hand on his chest, her tone leaving no room for argument. "You have won me." Silence. Leon looked down at the beautiful but terrifying alien warrior before him. Then he let out a long, exhausted sigh. "I should have just let them kill me." The crowd roared in approval. Leon stood frozen, staring at Zivera's serious expression. His brain struggled to process what had just happened. He had won. And because of that, according to some ridiculous alien tradition, he had apparently won a wife. "No, no," Leon said, taking the step back. "That can't be right. I didn't agree to this." Zivera arched an elegant silver eyebrow. "It is Kalfar law. The strongest warrior claims the highest prize." Her violet eyes flashed. "You defeated them all. You claimed victory. Now you claim me." Leon ran a hand through his messy, dark brown hair. "You can't just give me a person. That's not how things work." The surrounding warriors and spectators murmured in confusion. From their expressions, it was clear they didn't understand why he was resisting. To them, this was an honor. High Warlord Korthak scowled from his throne. His massive form loomed over the arena, his dark blue armor reflecting the torchlight. The human dares question our traditions. His deep voice rumbled like thunder. Is he rejecting my daughter? Zivera's jaw tightened. She took a step closer to Leon, her silver-white hair flowing behind her. I am not unworthy. Her voice was quiet, but there was an unmistakable challenge in it. Leon groaned. That's not, listen, it's not you. You seem terrifyingly impressive. It's just, humans don't do things this way. He gestured wildly. We don't fight to get married. He hesitated. Okay, some humans might, but not like this. Zivera crossed her arms. Then how do humans claim mates? Leon opened his mouth, then closed it. He glanced at the expectant crowd. Did he really want to explain dating in front of a bunch of alien warriors who probably thought romance meant battle to the death? Korthak's glare hardened. The human must honor the laws of our people. If he refuses, he insults my daughter and our entire clan. Leon felt every single eye in the arena focus on him. Oh, great. Now not marrying Zivera was an insult. He forced a smile. Look, maybe we can just slow this down. Maybe get to know each other first. Have a normal conversation before deciding our lifelong fate. Zivera frowned. You believe battle is not a true test of a mate's worth. Not exactly. Leon rubbed his temples. In human culture, people choose their partners based on personality, shared interests, emotional connection. Korthak scoffed. Weakness. Zivera sighed. Father, let me handle this. She turned back to Leon, studying him like he was some rare creature. You refuse me because you do not understand our ways. Very well. You will learn. Leon frowned. Learn. Before he could react, she grabbed him by the arm and dragged him forward. Hey, what? Zivera ignored his protests, leading him toward the massive warship dock nearby. The towering structure was covered in dark metal, glowing with deep red energy lines. The Kalfar warriors stepped aside as they passed, some grinning at Leon's predicament. He groaned. Why do I feel like I just made things worse? One of the warriors chuckled. Because you have, human. As they boarded the ship, Leon's mind raced. He had survived impossible odds today, but somehow he had a feeling his real challenge was just beginning. Leon had been in some terrible situations before. Hostage negotiations gone wrong, survival missions on alien planets, and that one time he got stranded on a derelict space station with an angry eye. But nothing compared to being dragged into an alien warship by a warrior princess who thought they were married. Zivera strode ahead, gripping his wrist firmly as she led him through the towering halls of the Kalfar battleship. The walls were dark metal, lined with glowing red energy veins pulsing like a heartbeat. Warriors passed by, some giving him approving nods, others snickering under their breath. Leon sighed. I can hear you laughing. One of the warriors, a massive four-armed brute named Raxel, grinned. You should be honored, human. Zivera is the fiercest warrior of our generation. Yeah. Well, I'm the dumbest human of my generation for getting into this mess, Leon muttered. Zivera ignored him and kept walking until they reached a large chamber with a throne-like chair at the center. The moment they entered, the doors slid shut behind them. Leon hesitated. So, this isn't an execution room, right? Zivera turned to face him, arms crossed. This is my war room. She gestured around. The walls displayed holographic battle plans, star charts, and what looked suspiciously like a list of combat training drills. Leon eyed it. You're not planning to train me, are you? Zivera tilted her head. If you are to be my mate, you must prove yourself worthy in all ways. Leon threw up his hands. Okay again, I didn't agree to this. Humans don't marry people just because of one fight. There's a whole process. We talk, we go on dates. Then we will date, Zyvera interrupted. Leon blinked. Wait, what? Zyvera nodded. If this is your custom, then we will do it. She narrowed her violet eyes. But know this, human, I will not be rejected. If you wish to leave, you must prove I am not worthy of you. Leon groaned. That's not how this works. A chime sounded. A deep, rumbling voice filled the room. Commander, enemy forces detected near the outer rim. Zyvera straightened. Status. A hologram flickered to life, showing an incoming fleet of black warships with glowing blue insignias. Leon didn't recognize the symbols, but from the way Zyvera's jaw tightened, she did. The Vector Dominion, she growled. They dare challenge us. Leon, sensing immediate danger, took a step back. Hey, I may not know much about Calfar politics, but I know that's a whole lot of ships. Maybe we should. Before he could finish, the ship lurched violently. Red warning lights flashed. The floor shook beneath them. Zyvera bared her fangs. They have fired upon us. Leon stumbled, catching himself on a nearby console. Fantastic. First, I get married against my will, and now I'm about to die in an alien war. Zyvera's eyes gleamed. She was enjoying this. Leon sighed. Of course, you think this is fun. She turned to him with a fierce grin. Time to prove your worth, human. Leon groaned. This was not how first dates were supposed to go. The Calfar battleship shook as another enemy blast struck its shields. Warning sirens blared through the corridors, and warriors rushed to their stations. Leon grabbed onto the nearest console to keep from falling. Okay, I know we were talking about relationships, but I'd rather not die before figuring out if this marriage thing is a misunderstanding. Zyvera stood tall, her violet eyes burning with determination. She barked commands in her native tongue, and a holographic map of the battlefield flickered to life before her. The Vector warships were fast, their sleek black hulls darting between Calfar cruisers like predators circling prey. Leon pointed at the map. You do see that they outnumber us, right? Maybe we should. Zyvera's lips curled into a fierce grin. We are Calfar. Let them come. Leon threw up his hands. You know, I think I preferred the part where you were just forcing me into marriage. That was less dangerous. The ship shuddered again. Sparks rained from an overhead panel. A Calfar officer turned from her station. Commander, enemy boarding crafts inbound. Zyvera's expression sharpened. Prepare for close combat. She turned to Leon. You will fight. Leon blinked. I will what? Zyvera grabbed a plasma blade from the wall and threw it to him. Leon caught it, barely, nearly dropping the weapon as the hilt buzzed in his grip. I don't know how to use this, he protested. Zyvera tilted her head. You defeated 3 of my father's warriors with a rock. I think you will manage. Leon groaned. That was different. That was strategy. The doors to the war room suddenly exploded inward. A squad of Vector soldiers stormed in, tall, armored figures with glowing blue visors. Their weapons hummed with deadly energy. Leon's heart pounded. Great. Now he was in the middle of a war zone, with an alien wife he didn't want, fighting enemies he didn't know, using a weapon he didn't understand. The lead Vector soldier raised his rifle. Surrender the ship. Zyvera responded by lunging. In a blur of silver hair and flashing steel, she cut through the first attacker with precise, brutal efficiency. Leon barely had time to react before another soldier charged him. Leon ducked just in time to avoid a swinging blade. He reacted purely on instinct, swinging his own plasma sword wildly. To his absolute shock, it worked. His opponent barely dodged the strike, thrown off balance. Leon didn't wait. He grabbed a loose piece of metal from the broken door and chucked it at the soldier's helmet. Direct hit. The soldier staggered. Leon took the chance to slam his shoulder into him, knocking him down. Zyvera, mid-fight, spared him a glance. Not bad. Leon panted. I'm just winging it. Another soldier lunged at him. This time, Leon had no time to dodge. A plasma blade was coming straight for his chest. Before it could hit, Zilvera moved. In a blink, she was between him and the attacker. She parried the strike with one hand and punched the soldier so hard he collapsed. She turned, her eyes fierce. Stay close to me. Leon swallowed hard. You know what? Maybe being married to you isn't the worst thing if it keeps me alive. Zivera smirked. Then fight well, husband. Leon groaned. This was not a first date. Leon barely had time to catch his breath before another Vector soldier rushed at him. His instincts screamed at him to run, but Zivera's sharp voice rang in his ears. Stand your ground, human. He gritted his teeth. Easier said than done. The enemy swung a plasma blade at his head. Leon ducked just in time, the glowing weapon slicing through the air where his skull had been. He reacted without thinking, grabbing the soldier's wrist with one hand and slamming his other fist into the alien's gut. The Vector grunted, but barely stumbled. Bad sign. Leon's mind raced. He needed an edge. His eyes darted around the room, looking for something. Asterisk, asterisk, anything. Asterisk, asterisk, he could use. Then he saw it, a fallen plasma rifle. Without hesitation, Leon lunged for it. The soldier moved to strike, but Zivera was already there, blocking the attack with ease. Leon snatched up the weapon, aimed and click. Nothing. He groaned. Oh, come on. Why doesn't this thing? Zivera grabbed the rifle from his hands, flipped a switch, and shoved it back. Safety was on. Leon exhaled sharply. Yeah, thanks for the tutorial. Before the enemy could recover, Leon pulled the trigger. A bright pulse of energy blasted the Vector off his feet, sending him crashing into the wall. Leon blinked at the smoking rifle. I should have started with this. Zivera smirked. Perhaps you are learning. Before Leon could respond, the ship shook violently. The holographic map flickered, revealing a Vector capital ship moving into position. A Califar officer shouted, Commander, their main cannon is charging. Leon turned to Zivera. That sounds bad. She nodded. That is very bad. Leon ran a hand through his messy dark hair. Tell me you have a plan, because I am fresh out of ideas. Zivera's gaze flicked to the battlefield display. If we cannot outgun them, her lips curled into a smirk. We will outfight them. Leon squinted. That sounds like the same thing. Zivera ignored him, opening a comm channel. Prepare for a boarding assault. I will lead the charge. Leon's eyes widened. Wait, we're boarding them. Zivera turned to him, her silver-white hair flowing like a war banner. You wish to prove yourself as my mate. Leon threw up his hands. I never said that. She stepped closer, her violet eyes gleaming. Then stay behind. Leon clenched his jaw. He could feel the challenge in her voice. He sighed. I swear, if I die because of some weird alien marriage rule, I'm gonna haunt this ship. Zivera grinned. Then do not die. The warriors prepared for launch. Leon, gripping his newly acquired plasma rifle, muttered under his breath, This is definitely the worst honeymoon ever. As the boarding pod launched toward the enemy ship, Zivera stood at his side, her blade ready. Leon took a deep breath. Marriage counseling could wait. First, they had a war to win. Leon braced himself as the boarding pod shot through space, rocketing toward the enemy warship. Red warning lights flashed, and the whole compartment shook violently as they cut through the Vector defenses. He gripped a metal railing for dear life. This is a bad idea. This is such a bad idea. Zivera stood beside him, completely calm, her plasma blade humming in her grip. You speak too much for a warrior. Leon shot her a look. I'm not a warrior. I'm just a guy who got married by accident, and now might die because of it. Zivera smirked. Then fight well, husband. Before he could argue, the pod slammed into the enemy ship. The doors hissed open, revealing a hallway full of armed Vector soldiers. Zyvera didn't hesitate. She charged forward, her blade flashing. The Califar warriors followed, engaging in brutal combat. Leon took a deep breath. No time to panic. He raised his stolen plasma rifle and fired. The first shot missed completely. The second one, luckily, hit an enemy's shoulder, sending them spinning. Leon let out a breath. Okay, maybe I can do this. Then 2 soldiers rushed him at once. Oh, come on, he yelped. Thinking fast, he ducked under a swinging rifle and kicked one soldier in the knee. The alien stumbled, and Leon used the moment to slam his rifle across the other's helmet. It worked, mostly. The second soldier grabbed him by the collar and threw him against the wall. Pain shot through Leon's back. Before the Vector could finish him, Zyvera moved. She sliced through the enemy's weapon, then spun and knocked them unconscious with a single blow. Leon gasped for air. I had that under control. Zyvera raised an eyebrow. You were on the floor. Leon groaned. Okay, mostly under control. Before they could argue, the ship rumbled. Overhead, a Califar officer's voice crackled over the comms. Commander, enemy ship's power core detected. We need 2 minutes to override their shields. Zyvera turned to Leon. We hold this position. Leon wiped sweat from his forehead. Great, so we just survive for 2 minutes. A new wave of Vector reinforcements poured into the hallway. Leon groaned. That's a lot longer than it sounds. The battle raged on. Leon fired, dodged, and barely survived as the fight intensified. His muscles ached, his breathing was ragged, and his brain screamed for a break. Finally, a loud alarm blared. A Califar voice announced, "Enemy shields down." Zyvera's eyes gleamed. We win. Leon exhaled. Great, so we leave now, right? Zyvera tilted her head. No, now we take the ship. Leon groaned, resting his head against the wall. I am never getting out of this marriage, am I? Zyvera grinned. No. Leon sighed. At least she was honest. Leon had never been so exhausted in his life. His arms ached, his legs burned, and he was pretty sure he had a bruise forming on his ribs. But the battle wasn't over yet. The Vector warship's control room was just ahead, and Zyvera had no plans of stopping now. She turned to him, her violet eyes sharp and focused. We take the bridge, we end this fight. Leon forced in a breath. Right, just storm a heavily guarded command center in the middle of an enemy ship, no problem. Zyvera smirked. Good, you understand. Leon sighed. That was sarcasm. Before he could argue further, Zyvera kicked open the door. Inside, the Vector captain stood surrounded by his officers. His armor was heavier than the rest, his deep blue skin marked with battle scars. His 4 glowing eyes studied the intruders with cold amusement. You are bold, Califar, the captain rumbled. But foolish. Zyvera raised her blade. Surrender your ship. The captain laughed. A deep, rumbling sound. You think this is a victory. You have no idea what you have done. Leon frowned. That's never a good thing to hear. Without warning, the captain pressed a button on his wrist. An alarm blared. Zyvera's expression darkened. What did you do? The captain grinned. I activated the self-destruct sequence. You may have taken my ship, but you will not leave alive. Leon blinked. Wait, hold on. Self-destruct. The ship shuddered as warning lights flashed red. A robotic voice echoed through the room. Destruction sequence activated. 5 minutes until core detonation. Leon turned to Zyvera. You know what? Now, I think we should leave. Zyvera's jaw tightened. We disable it. Leon groaned. Of course we do. The Califar warriors surged forward, engaging the Vector officers in battle. The room erupted in chaos, blades clashing, plasma bolts flying. Leon dove behind a console as a blast nearly singed his arm. He peeked up to see Zyvera fighting the captain, and struggling. The Vector leader was fast, blocking her strikes with ease. With one powerful blow, he knocked her back. Leon didn't think. He just moved. Grabbing a fallen enemy's sidearm, he aimed at the captain's exposed leg and fired. Direct hit. The alien snarled in pain, stumbling just long enough for Zyvera to deliver a final strike. The captain collapsed, defeated. Zyvera turned to Leon, breathing hard. That was reckless. Leon shrugged. "You're welcome." She hesitated, then nodded. "Well done." Leon almost smiled, until the alarm blared louder. 2 minutes until detonation. Leon's eyes widened. Zyvera. She was already at the controls, hands flying over the console. "I am disabling the core." Leon looked around. Do you need help?" Zyvera didn't look up. "Not unless you understand vector encryption." Leon sighed. "Right. I'll just stand here and hope we don't explode." The seconds ticked down. Zyvera's fingers moved faster. The console beeped, flashing warning signs in alien script. Leon held his breath. Then, the alarm stopped. Zyvera straightened. Self-destruct disabled. Leon exhaled. "Oh, thank God." He slumped against the wall. "If we live through this, we really need to talk about boundaries." Zyvera smirked. "Survive first. Then we negotiate." Leon groaned. This marriage was going to kill him. Leon was completely done with this day. The self-destruct sequence was deactivated. The enemy ship was under Calfar control, and the Vector forces had either surrendered or fled. He should have been celebrating. Instead, he was sitting on the cold metal floor of the command bridge, trying to catch his breath. Zyvera, standing over him, looked far too calm for someone who had nearly died 10 times in the last hour. "You fought well," she said. Leon let out a weak laugh. "I fought desperately." "There's a difference." Zyvera tilted her head. "Desperation leads to survival. That is strength." Leon sighed, rubbing his sore shoulder. "Then I must be the strongest man alive." A Calfar officer approached, saluting Zyvera. "Commander, the enemy fleet is retreating. Our forces are victorious." Zyvera nodded. "Good. Secure the ship and begin repairs." Leon pushed himself to his feet, wincing. "So we won. We're not going to explode or get invaded again." Zyvera's lips curled into a smirk. "For now." Leon exhaled. "Great. Then can someone finally explain what happens to me now?" Zyvera raised an eyebrow. "You are my husband." Leon threw up his hands. "Okay, see, that's what I'm talking about. We need to discuss that." Zyvera folded her arms, her silver-white hair catching the dim bridge lights. "You wish to challenge our bond." Leon blinked. "I don't even know how I got bonded. I threw a rock at some guy, and suddenly I'm married." Zyvera gave a small shrug. "You defeated my previous suitors. By our customs, that makes you the strongest choice." Leon groaned. "Okay, but hear me out. What if I don't want to be part of an alien arranged marriage?" Zyvera's violet eyes studied him. "Then you must challenge me." Leon hesitated. "Challenge you? How?" She smirked. "Defeat me in combat." Leon laughed, then realized she wasn't joking. His eyes widened. "Wait, seriously?" Zyvera nodded. "If you win, the bond is broken." Leon took a step back. "Yeah, see, I don't think that's fair. You just took down an entire warship. I, meanwhile, nearly died fighting a guy with a rock." Zyvera gave a slight tilt of her head. "Then you will remain my mate." Leon stared at her. "That's blackmail." Zyvera smirked. "That is tradition." Leon rubbed his face. "Okay, you know what? Fine. I'll deal with this later. Right now, I need food, sleep, and possibly a medical coma." Zevera's expression softened, just a little. You have earned rest. Leon blinked. Wait, are you being nice to me? Zevera huffed. You are my mate. It would not be honorable if you perished from exhaustion. Leon sighed, shaking his head. Well, that's the most romantic thing anyone's ever said to me. She smirked. Then you will enjoy our honeymoon. Leon groaned. We are not having a honeymoon. Zevera simply walked past him, motioning for him to follow. Come, there is much to discuss. Leon dragged a hand through his messy hair. Yeah, like divorce laws. Zevera smiled. Do not worry. Cal, our unions are permanent. Leon froze. Wait, what? Zevera's laughter echoed down the hall. Leon sighed. This was his life now.